everybody. So last week I didn't do any Bible study videos, and that's because it was a very hectic week. Like last week I did my 2 song requests from the Sound Music, and then of course I couldn't do any videos when it was because I was working the next day and all that stuff. And then this past weekend was my birthday. My birthday was Sunday. I'm 29 now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the videos from the Renaissance Fair. They were really fun. It would have been more videos if I had stayed longer, but I had to leave because of the rain. So now I just got back from Bible study. I have a couple of drinks. This one is the pumpkin Oreo cheesecake. I got that from my mom. And this is blueberry shake. It's really good. I got this from Pagan Nutrition here in Oxford. And I figured I would have a few minutes to just go through what I didn't do last week from that discussion. Because now we're all cut up, and we're gonna try to do our weekly discussion from each chapter. So hopefully we stay that way. But anyway, so this is from chapter 3. Seek peace and follow after it. 1 Peter 3. So here we go. I'll try to keep it at 10 minutes. So here's the open question. Why do Christians tend to gravitate toward either sinking without a trace into the surrounding culture, or adopting a standoffish, holier than thou approach, rather than being able to maintain a balance? So I wrote down, I looked it up because I didn't know how to respond. But my answer I found was Christians tend to fall toward extremes in cultural engagement due to and the rest of it is on this other piece of paper, which I don't have right now. But I've met people from both sides of things. And so you don't have to sink from your Christianity. It's not something they should hide and be ashamed of. Like if you believe in Christianity, you believe in God, then no one should discourage you to like keep that belief to yourself. But at the same time, there are people that have like the standoffish, holier than thou approach to their belief, like they're so much better than everybody else. Those are the kind of people I call them religious freaks, because they think that their religion is like the one true religion. They don't accept any other faiths. They don't accept any other denominations. And like this church I go to, because it was my grandparents' church and all that, they do not like Catholics. And I don't understand why. Because yes, Protestants and Catholics all have like this deep history of like not liking each other. People have died because of it. But at the same time, Catholics is only another denomination. Like Protestant is another denomination. They believe in the same God. It just they do different practices. They worship different ways. Their churches are different, and that doesn't make them wrong or right or anything. But yeah, that's how I feel on that issue. Read 1 Peter 3, 1-7. Consider what Peter advocates here for wives and husbands. How does it depart from the views of the dominant culture around us? Well, I wrote down, women don't have to submit to their husbands anymore. People have evolved. Times has changed. So, like as you will read from this chapter in 1 Peter, Peter talks about like how women has to submit to their husbands. But we don't necessarily have to do that anymore. I mean, there'll be some people these days that might still follow that kind of mindset, which is terrible. But times have changed. We have progressed when it comes to women's rights. Of course, we have also digressed because of the current president. But anyways, I digress. I know my relationship with Colin is an equal relationship. He's Catholic. I'm not. I do consider myself pagan, as what we will go into later on in these videos. What Peter talks about, Peter hates pagans. So it's like, it feels kind of weird me reading through these passages and going to Bible study and answer these questions when I myself is pagan. But I find this very interesting. I like having these discussions. I feel like I understand more and have a deeper meaning of what I'm reading when I have these discussions. So, but yeah, in times of change, and to Colin, I'm his equal. I know when we get married, hopefully we will get married. We'll be together for like almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in January. Hopefully he'll put me the question. I'll say yes. We get married. And I know he's not going to expect me to submit to him. I'm my own person. He's his own person. And we will be able to figure out how we're going to upbring our children, going by our own different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? What are the spiritual priorities Peter highlights for wives and for husbands? So I wrote down: no outward stuff, unfading purity and quiet spirit, great worth to God, same way as the women in the past. So I really liked how Peter said like how women have like a quiet and have like a that are very beautiful. We should not have material things. A very quiet spirit. I really liked how women is being described in this instance. So I can see like I don't have any issues. I know I'm beautiful. I don't need no one to tell me that. I know I'm pretty on the inside and out. I know I'm a good person, even if I don't like worship the same God. You know, being Christian doesn't necessarily make you a good person, but it's important to just stay true to yourself. What would it be like if popular magazines reflected a quite different ideal about what it means to be a woman or a man? Suppose real womanly beauty comes from the heart. Suppose what gives a married woman her full stature as a human being is something that affects her whole character, rather than something merely stuck on to the outside. Now there's a radical idea. And suppose the way a married man can find true fulfillment is not by bullying his wife into submission, forcing her to do what he wants. Suppose the way to fulfillment is through treating the wife as an equal, even though she will, in the normal run of things, be less physically strong. Suppose in religious terms, as well as other ways, she stands on level ground with him. Now there's a radical ideal. I love radical ideals so much. So good. What would it be like if Christians were to start cheerfully behaving in that different way, whether or not the magazine trade caught up with the idea? The fact that this still sounds quite drastic indicates that this is a lesson each generation has to learn. Read 1 Peter 3:8-16. How does Peter expand his advice for married couples and apply it to Christians in general? Like-minded, sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble and kind. So we should be like-minded. We should be sympathetic towards other people, or I prefer the term empathetic. Like, we understand what people are going through and we have empathy for that person. Love one another. As it will be covered in the next chapter, love covers a multitude of sin, which I do like that quote. Be compassionate with each other. Like, I try to be compassionate towards other people, and I try to be very humble in my approach as well. When we deal with those outside the faith, what attitude should we carry in our hearts? So I wrote down what was said in the passage. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. Repay evil with blessings. Inherit blessings. So if we just put blessings out there, good out there, when that someone trying to do evil on us, we will get blessings. And that kind of reminds me of what one of the kids said about, like, we cannot fight darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. We cannot fight hate with hate, but only love can do that. That's my favorite quote of all time. I love MLK, and that's what it made me think of. And as a Wiccan, from the Wiccan Read, which I just recently bought at the Renaissance Fair, is he harm none, do as thee will. So I live with that message. And but anyways, now we are almost at 11 minutes. I'm gonna stop there, and I will continue on into the next video, probably in the different setting. I'll be walking home, my shakes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. See you in my next video. Bye, everybody. Take care and have a blessed day.